Okay, looks like we're live. I'm still setting things up here. This is a last minute live stream. I was just in the flow doing some we setting things up here. This is a last minute live stream. Okay, looks like I was just in the flow up here. This is a Ooh, let's turn that off. I was just in the flow. Just give me a moment, everyone. We're gonna get this thing cracking. Mm. Okay, figure that out. Let's get this also done. Okay, let's see here how the audio is working. Cool. My gain is looking good. I got my testers. I had to turn those all on mute. Nope, they aren't on mute. There we go. Now we're on mute. Let's see. All right. Rasno in the house. What is going on? Craig also in the house. So good to see you. Nice, nice. Craig from the community, from the Lightbox community, from our crew on Circle. Oh, Craig, so good to see you. Let me get the rest of my setup done. Oh, wow, we are going. All right, we're doing this. Let me pull up the chat, see what is going on. Let you guys know what is happening here because we're going to do something a little bit different. I've been away off the live streams for a little while. The beginning of the year, I was on fire. The momentum was rolling strong, not just with the live streams, but the content creation and a whole lot of other things, especially when it comes to my health. I've been working really hard on getting fit, just optimizing my body as well as my mind, reading a lot, working out a lot, really practicing and building ultimate discipline around what I put into my body, not just the foods, but content as well. And around 42 days into it, I got an injury and that set me back. Now, I don't want any sympathy. It's not about that. It just, I had to take time off to let my body heal and to take that step back to come back again. And that's what we're doing now. And look at here's the thing when I haven't done a live stream in a while, it's hard to jump back into it. You got to get that momentum going because it does take a little bit of craziness to turn on a camera and just start talking to it into the ether, just out there and just kind of like doing this. So I was in the flow working on building a blueprint inside of Figma for the Figma mastery for the last several hours. I went in, had lunch, took a break. I was getting close to the end of building color palettes and a color palette system that could be reused inside of Figma. And, while I was getting to the end right before dinner time, I thought, man, this would have been so dope just to turn on the camera, go live. And I would love to show how I'm building something like this because I'm looking at it. I'm like, dude, this is looking awesome. Now, it is tedious. It took several hours just to get to the point that I'm at, but I'm close to the end. And I feel like I could take it to the finish line in these next 30, 45 minutes. And I thought it would be awesome to go ahead and do this live on YouTube to show everyone the whole process behind it, what we're doing. And, I work a lot in Figma and I want to start showing a whole lot more of Figma. It's an important part of the design process. It's a reason why it's the industry standard for a design tool. So let's do it. Dave is in the house. What is going on, Dave? Tarek, what's up? Yeah, I got the glasses. So I need these because it's nighttime here and I'm trying to improve my sleep. In fact, it's one of the other reasons why I haven't really been doing lives because I live in Asia. And, and the best time to do lives is in the evening, to connect with the UK crew, with the Europe crew, with everybody out in Asia. I know it's a bit late for all of my Aussie crew out there, the New Zealand crew, and it's a bit early for the US crew as well. It's really challenging. It's really challenging. And I did do some live streams in my morning, which is more about like the evening time, early evening time for the US crew. But I found that this is a time where I've always held my live streams and where we get the most action. So I got to optimize my sleep and block this blue light. But as I dive into Figma right now, I'm going to have to take it off so I could actually see the colors that we are working with. All right. Let me just check my. Let me checking my iPad. I got to keep a close eye on this because every time I do screen shares and get lost into some sort of session, somehow I forget to do something. So this time I got it covered. All right. We're going to do this. So what I'm going to do is just dive right in. I'm going to go ahead and do a screen share. Let me set this up real quick. All right, let me go over to my Figma board and I'm going to wait just about 10-15 seconds for the lag to catch up just so I can verify everything is good looking on my iPad. Now, I hope the connection is okay. I was watching Reno's live stream, and by the way, it was so good to see Reno's live stream last night. Like it was entertaining. It was fun watching him, just explore bricks and look at bricks from a new person to bricks perspective in their experience. Uh, but I also know that being out here in Asia, at the nighttime, when it comes late at night, the Wi-Fi starts to drop a little bit. The connections aren't as strong. And I've reached out to the Wi-Fi companies, and they say this is because it's when most people come home from work, and this is when most people start streaming and watching their TV shows, winding down for the day. During the daytime in Thailand, we have the best Wi Fi I've ever experienced in my life. I have been in the middle of the jungle and still got strong 4 and 5G signals in the jungle. I literally was on a ferry boat in between islands in the ocean, and I was getting 5G. Like it was insane. I go back home to Los Angeles and like I could barely get bars. Like I'm always like in dead zones and barely could get like 20 megabytes download speed. Here it's like 2 gigabytes download speed, but in the evenings it does slow down. Okay. All right, Wayne from Germany, what's up? Denmark is in the house. Ethiopia in the house. Dude, that is so dope. That is awesome. I love this. What's going on, Matt? Good to see you here. Man. Okay. I'm just going to dive into it. If you have any questions throughout this, I'm going to be going back and forth to the chat. But I'm going to get in my flow here designing. I'm going to get in my flow building out this color palette that's going to be used as a design system and a reusable template. And while I'm getting inside of my flow, well, I'm not going to be able to see the chat. So I have to like take little breaks, like every 10-15 minutes. I'll take a break, I'll go back. It'd be great to see you all just start connecting with each other. The whole reason why I do these live streams is a way for us web creators and creatives to connect with each other, have fun, geek out. We share the same passions. So it just all makes sense. But if you got a question, just put a Q in front of it on the chat. And when I skim through it, I'll look for those cues and I'll make sure that you get answered. All right. You know what? Okay. I could use my glasses right now. So, what we're doing right now is creating a reusable color palette. And I got mostly through it. Now, this is just the starter. And it's like the skeleton. Think of it like a wireframe. And then we're going to plug in some variables and then connect the variables to local styles. When I was building this out, first I just had the swatches, but then I wanted to put something to make it even easier to copy and paste the text, copy and paste the color code as well. So now I got to fix it up. And if we go here to the boards, let me close all these so we could take a look at the layers, because this is where a lot of the work happens right here inside of the layers. It's really important to have all of our layers cleaned up using auto layout everywhere that we can, where it makes sense. And I also get very granular as far as using grids in a grid system as well. This way we can make it look super clean. Let me turn this off. And what we're doing here, This, let's hide that. Okay. And what we're doing here as well, this could all be done on the free version. You don't need a paid version for this. Okay, let me go ahead and take a look here. Okay, we got our primary. So if we look at our filing system here, we have first the primary title, and then we got the primary grid. But this is where we got to get granular right here as far as making everything, like we're literally using Flex for all this. Oh, I had it on dev mode. Okay, let's turn off dev mode. You know, everything with the auto layout, this is like Flex. And this is why auto layout is so important, because if we're going to transition a design to like Elementor, bricks, breakdance, whatever it is, if there's Flex box involved, which now all builders have it, well, it's going to be it's basically following the same fundamentals as Flex with the auto layout. Like we have our directions, I could switch the directions around. But with that, I'm just going to continue because now I got to take this color ID box right here, which is really our text that gives it the label. Like, for example, we got primary 100, 200, 300, and so on. I'll show you how all this works and why we have everything labeled the way we do. As soon as we finish this part, now I'm going to go in down here and let me paste this. Okay, it looks funky, but we're going to fix that. That's no problem. First off, I'm going to change this around. So let me copy this so I could paste it later. And then this is just going to be my color swatch. It's hard for me to type with this giant microphone above the keyboard. All right, we got our color ID giant swatch. Now I'm going to turn this into a frame, and then I'm going to turn this into an auto layout. Now this is going to be renamed. I'm going to call this my accent 100, and this is where we got to use our flex control. So over here, you see it's going as a row. We're going to turn this into a column, and then I need to fix these. So let me go to my color ID. And the reason why it looks funky is because it's at a width 1 pixel, but we could go ahead and just select on hug contents. Same thing on the height hug contents. And now we are looking good here. What I'm going to do on these now is just delete them. Go here and duplicate. And we're making 9 of these. So let's duplicate all these. But now things are kind of funky. And when you see the boxes looking off, like the blue dotted lines, it means something is off with the auto layout. We need to fix it up. It's kind of like when you got your Elementor elements and something, if that pink box isn't hugging your content and your stuff, your text or whatever element you have, something is off. You always want that pink box hugging everything. All right, let's find out where that is coming from. Let's select the whole thing. Okay, we got it on hug, hug. Okay, we don't need to change that. And this is where it is at, is on the entire grid. So I'm going to go to height and hug contents. There we go. We wanted to hug, so that way it is wrapping the contents. Now everything fill in. Now here comes the tedious part. This part isn't fun. All right, I got to dive in and we got to rename stuff. So this is going to be accent 100, accent 200. And I'm not going to list off each one. I just got to go in and change each one of these. It gets really tedious, but it is important. I'm also going to have to go into my files and rename everything. But all I got is just my accents, neutrals, and semantics. And then I'll go over what all of those are, what they mean, how they are to be used. And then we're going to add colors to it all and create variables. And I'll show you how this also could be used as a blueprint. All right, 900 now. Let me go into my filing system. Let me click on this until I could get to it. Okay, cool. I just Gotta rename my frames. This is all really it's tedious, but it's all really important to do to get these little details. The thing is, we're building a blueprint, so it only needs to be done once. After this, we're going to be able to duplicate it and plug in our colors for starting our projects. And then 9. All right, cool. Let's do the same thing with our neutrals. I'm going to copy our color ID right here. Let me copy that. Let me go here to my tab. All right, let me copy this as well. Let's paste. Oh no, didn't want to do that. Okay, this also, I could see something is wrong with this as well with this ID. Are these also messed up? Okay, we want to fix that because if we got to come in and rename it, wait, hold up. It's going to break. Wait, no, okay, it won't fit. No. This should be filling for the width. Okay, it's set to hug. I'm going to take this to fill. You see now how that blue line fills all the way across? I can see this being a problem for something like this because I want everything to fit right in the box and not break the layout. Say, if somebody else uses this blueprint, I don't want it to break. So I'm going to come into my width and use fill so that way it fills the entire space in the container. See, I was going to do this by myself in my room. I thought, let's just turn on the camera, go live with it. Some of it's going to look boring, but some of it I find is going to be really helpful to people wanting to learn Figma, wanting to understand it. All right. See, these are fill. All these are fill right here. I must have copied one that wasn't fill. Is this fill as well? Okay, it is fill. It's hugging the top but filling the width. That's perfect. That's what we want. Okay. Now let me go ahead and oops. I could also create a component with this, but I'm going to be doing components later, so I don't want to mess with components yet. But because I am making this as part of the Figma Mastery course right now, I'm doing things in a certain order. If it was like a project for me to do right now, when I find myself doing the same thing, I just create components and streamline the whole process. All right, let's go ahead and paste that in. Now I'm going to call this color swatch. And then this is going to be neutral 100. All right. And then let's go ahead and turn these into a frame. And then I'm going to turn this into an auto layout. And now I could go to my flex control. I'm going to still call it flex control because to me, that's what auto layout is. And it makes it a lot easier looking at it that way if you're used to using tools like Elementor and Bricks. From here, I'm going to go to my width and select on fill container. That's what I did wrong last time. And then height, hug contents. And let's get the whole thing. Okay, this is going to be called wait, okay, no, it's color ID. All right, I changed the wrong text, neutral 100. And let me see. Neutral 100. Let me copy this. It'll make it easier to paste it. Okay, cool. All right. Let's go here. All right, go to my neutral grids. Let's select on hug so we could get it to fit inside of its container. Perfect. Now I'm just going to go to the rest of these, delete them. And I could go here and duplicate it. One, two. And now let's just go ahead and update the names for these. All right. And I got to update the names here as well. Two. Got to keep those files updated and organized. All right. You know what? I am going to let me pull this down. I'm going to duplicate this so I don't have to do all that all over again. Let me copy this. Okay, semantics. Now the semantics here, I'll pull these over here. Wait, it's hard for me to see. Okay, I don't even need that. It's okay. I know what I'm doing. Okay, the semantics. This is going to be our error 100. This is going to be our success 100. Our warning 100, and then our info 100, and then the others could be deleted. Oops. Yeah, we don't need all those. Let me just go in now and fix the labeling inside here. This is our semantics. All right, semantics title. Semantic colors. Okay, I'm going to have to fix those descriptions, but I'll do that in my final tidiness. Okay, this is going to be semantic, and then this is going to be error. Oh, I need to do the same thing here. It didn't update. Usually this will update. I have to go back and check to make sure they all updated. All right, success. Same thing here. Success 100. All right. You know what? I think that'll be quicker. It is. I'm always looking for ways to do this faster because, as you can see, this could be time consuming for sure. Okay, now let's see here. We got one, two, three. Let's clean all this up. And we'll go here. I'm going to make this, give it a 40 pixel gap right here between all of them. Let's see how we are looking. I'm going to actually pull out the, oh, I don't know if I can see it with my glasses. Let's pull out that grid. How are we on this grid right here? I want to line it up. And okay, I'm lining up my blocks with the grids. All right, that's looking good right there. Dude, we are looking dope. All right, let's go ahead and remove the grids, turn those off. And you know what? Let me turn it back on. Oh, I went back into dev mode. Let's close all these colors. And then I'm going to hit Command and move this up so nothing changes. Now we got that 20 pixel on the bottom. All right, the template is there. Now to put this to use. I'm going to go check the chat really quick, see what is going on. I'm going to keep it on the screen share. Let me get some of my tea. Mm. I'm just going to pull out my iPad to see what's happening here inside of the chat. Not much. Yes, the stream will be recorded and rewatched. It's all good. Bob, oh, okay, I got to share this. Let me stop the screen share. I saw that too. All right. Bob says, don't mention dev mode or Figma might come after you. Yeah, Figma just came after Lovable for using the word dev mode. Apparently, they have intellectual property over it, and you can't use it, even though it is a very generic term. I don't know. What do you guys feel about it? I feel like dev mode, like I don't know. Like I used to say that when I was brand new before Figma was even out. Like, dude, I'm going into dev mode. I'm gonna get some coffee. I'm gonna stay up all night and just code out something. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I could fight for the intellectual property because I was using it before Figma. Okay, let's go ahead and get back into it because we got some now that we got the frame of everything created. Let's take a look at what this actually means, how it's going to be used, why we're using things like 100, 200, 300, and so on, and how we are going to fill these in. First thing I'm going to do though is I want to duplicate this because this is going to be my blueprint. I don't want to mess with it, and I am going to add some colors. So I'm going to select on duplicate file. Now I got a copy. And this is how you use a blueprint. You just duplicate it. Right now we're creating a lot of other elements, a lot of design systems. I already got the grids. We're creating all the variables, and then also the typography that's coming up next after this. But here's the thing. Okay, these are going to be shades right here. So when it comes to the primary color, this is going to be the main color that the brand uses. If the brand's color, let's say our color for Lightbox, right now, the primary color for my brand is a green color. It is a bright neonish type of green. That is the primary color. And we're going to create shades of that primary color. Now, the 5, this is going to be the actual color. This is the base brand color. These are going to be shades going lighter. These are going to be shades going darker. And it's going to work that way across the board. The secondary color, we use purples as our secondary. Also have yellows and a couple other colors that I use as secondary. So we're going to use those. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to create shades. Now, the reason why we use a number system like 100, 200, 300, and so on is because, well, 100 is going to be lightest. But this also opens up the design system, the color system to be expanded on. Some projects won't need this many number of shades. You might only need 3 or 4. Really, you want to keep everything minimized as much as possible. But some projects are going to get more granular. You might want more. You might want something completely lighter. So what this is going to do is if you want something even lighter than what we have at the 100, you can make a primary dash 50, even a primary dash 0 just to make it white. If you want something in between the 300 and 400, you could plug in another color here that is going to be the primary 350. So this is all built to be scalable. Now, it is built pretty big in my opinion to start off with. And that is because I did want to make sure our 5 is sitting right in the middle. It's just better for visuals to see that color, the right, the base color for the color palette down the middle. But I try to keep it less than this personally. Okay, so our secondaries, we can use multiple secondaries. The secondary is going to be, not the primary brand color, but the ones that you also use. If you use different colors, different hues, those will go down. Now, I added options for additional. Usually, I don't use so many additional secondaries. So if I were going to start a new project, spin this up, I would just delete one of these. That's all. And then the accent. The accent is going to be something that I like to use with my primary color. Let's say my primary is going to be a green. Maybe my accent is going to be a hue like a teal, like a light, or maybe like a turquoise, something that when I hover, it is going to show it, and something that will you'll use very little, and something that'll be probably in interactions, something not used as much. And then our neutrals, these are going to be our whites, grays, and blacks. These are going to be for our text. These are going to be for backgrounds. These are going to be for borders. So this is all going to be natural colors. And then we have our semantics, which are going to be for things like our error, success warning, info, things for like your contact forms. And that's it. So now to plug and play this. Let me just see if there are any questions. If you guys get lost at any point, drop a question for sure. I don't see anything in the chat, so I'm going to keep rolling. There are a couple things that we could do with this. I could go and find my color palette in a few places. I like human. Human is dope because I could go to the website. I could choose, let me choose two accents, and this could give me, okay, now I need to take off my glasses so I could actually see color. And from here, I could choose a color palette and get a good idea of what it looks like. Another good option is going to be coolers. All right, let me let that load. They do have the pro version. All right, I am very tempted to sign up for pro since it's kind of cheap. Because like right here, we could go ahead and it's been a while since I used this right here. I feel like they changed it a bit. Wait, am I? Huh. Okay, I could get in. Why am I feeling like something changed in here? Okay, this is pretty dope. I could see it's hidden, but the shades, this is what we want to get. But I remember there used to be a simple button that we could press the arrows and so it's spacebar. Oh man, it's a late night here. Okay, so I could keep going until okay, this actually looks pretty dope right here. Okay, so I could choose something. Man, I could have fun with a design palette like this. In fact, I'm going to hold on to it, and then I could create my shades out of it. I think I'm going to, I'm a bit biased with the green since it is part of our brand. We got our lights and our darks. I could use these for our neutrals, and then I could use a yellow and this pink for our secondaries. Perfect. This is what we're going to do. I already found one. This is it. All right. Now, this is another good option too, is the color palette generator by Figma. Pretty easy. Oops, where did that go? But you can just click on it till you get something. This is pretty dope as well. Wow, I really like this dark color. I might mix and match a little bit. Okay, so with this, I am going to, you know what? I'm going to add this dark color. Let me copy that. No, we don't need to do that. Let's go here. Okay, I like that. I like that dark, you know, it looks like it's I can't really tell because I do have the night screen on my monitor right now. I don't want to turn that off because I probably won't go to sleep. Okay, now let's do this. I am going to use a plugin, and I have a plugin called Color Shades. I'm going to explore more of these plugins. But basically, with this plugin, we could create shades. Let me go to the first one. All right, I'm going to make my primary this color right here. So let me go ahead and copy this. And let's go in here and add it. Nice, nice. Now, okay, they got the 0. Oh, okay, I don't want that. I'll take the 5. Let's go to the 5. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to select on these little dots right here. I'm going to choose created in this file. I don't have any variables yet. I'm going to select this plus and I'm going to create the variable. And we want to name everything exactly as we have inside of our design system. Not only is this going to help us out with our whole workflow, it's going to make everything cleaner in the design, but then this is going to translate to the website as well. So primary 500, and let's add the color and create the variable. Now, this is where things start to get a bit tedious. We got to do that for everything. I'm not going to do it all on here. I'm just going to do, I'll do primary, secondary. I'll do a bit of it. I want to have some fun and geek out. Okay, let's go to one. Do the same thing. We're going to go back here, add a variable, add a plus. In fact, you know what? There's a quicker way of doing this. That's a slow way. I don't want to do it slow. Let's speed this up. Okay, let me move this over, move this up here. I'm going to pull out my variables. In fact, I should have done this from the first time here. Yeah, see this one. Let me see. Can I move this? It's not, I don't know if I can move this. Let me just go ahead and delete it. I'm going to start all over because I have variables for borders, colors, box shadows. We're going to be doing for our typography, for our spacings and gaps as well. So let's go ahead and start with our colors. I'm going to select color, and then I'm going to do a primary 500. Let me copy that. Okay, now I can just go here, right click it, and duplicate this. Let's make this bigger because we're going to add 10 of them. Yeah, this is the fast way right here. I got to put my glasses back on. I got to protect my sleep tonight. Okay, let me see. Duplicate. Okay, we got 9. Perfect. So now let me go edit this one. 200. I probably could have done that a little bit better to reduce the clicking and redundant work. 400. 500. 600. 800 and 900. All right, now let's go ahead and just get our colors. Let me grab one. All right, 2. Now this is going to go fast. 3. 4. Okay, 5 is done. 6. Oops. 7. I wish it was a click and copy here. That would have been so much easier. And then 9. Okay. Dope. Okay, now we got all of our variables connected. Now, let me turn this off. I don't need these anymore. Let's go here and connect it. So I just go to fill, select on here on my dots that take me to the variables and the local styles, and just select the variable to connect it to. 300. It's a lot of work in the very beginning, but this work pays off afterwards because it reduces work later. 7, 8, and 9. Okay, cool. We got our variables here now. And then all we got to do is the same thing. Go to secondary. Let me see. What do I have for my secondary color? I want to lead with this. I like this right here. Let me copy this. And I'm going to open this up and add in a new variable. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Create variable down here. Okay, color. Let me see here. Second. Okay, I think I spelled that wrong. All right, secondary. And I'm just going to put a dash one because I want to try to reduce the work that I did on the last one. Let's go ahead and duplicate this 8 times. Ah, no. Okay, that didn't work the way I thought it would. Let's see if that does. Okay, duplicate. Yes. Nah, okay. I'm going to have to still redo them. Duplicate, duplicate, I believe one more, right? Okay, let's go ahead and fix this up. 100, 200, 300. I'm only going to do this one more in the live stream right now. And then I'm going to turn these to local styles. And then we're going to wrap this up and do some Q&A. And then 900. All right, let me copy this again. And let's pull out that plugin. I'm going to right click, go to my plugins. This is a free plugin, by the way. I found it to be pretty dope. All right, here we go. Let's choose. Here we go with one. Yeah, I just wish I had a copy and click. That would have made this a whole lot easier. I know there's some other ones here. I've seen some really good plugins that do speed up the process. Some that turn local styles into variables, which is needed. I found that while I was going through different kits and different templates for brand styles, for UI kits, and all amazing, phenomenal templates, but they were all using just local styles and not variables. If you are a Figma user and using variables, let us know inside of the chat. I would love to see that I'm not alone thinking that variables are a very important part of Figma design process for best practices and modern Figma. Local styles, it was there before. Local styles are still good, but now variables, it just changes everything. Okay, let's go ahead and plug these in. Okay, 1, 2, 3, okay, 4. And this it's going to be a lot if I use multiple secondaries. In this case, I might create different files within my variables to manage them better because we can do that. 8. In fact, I'm going to create them inside of my local styles. All right, now we have 2 colors here. Now next I would add my additional secondary and then go to the accent and neutrals. Neutrals are really, really important. I could let me take off my glasses. I could find a quick neutral. Those glasses take color all the way out. Let me see how it actually looks now with that. Dude, that looks dope. Okay, I like these colors together. Like I could visualize seeing doing this. Yeah, this could look dope. This could look really dope. I could create something really cool with that. This is great example right here. Like out the gate, this is really good for the neutrals. Like I would stick with this for my neutrals. Let's see here. For I probably would go with the 0. Oops. Oh no. Let's go up here. For my neutrals, God, I wish I could just click on this and turn these into variables right away. That would be super dope. But you know what? I am going to do a few more variables. Let me just do a few more. Okay, color. This is going to be neutral. Now, it's really important when we're doing this that we're using lowercase. All right, and we are going to do the white, and let's go ahead and duplicate this a few times. All right. I started with 0 because I wanted something really white for my text. So you don't have to be perfect with everything. You want to be close to it, but you don't have to be absolutely perfect. Like I never would use 000 pitch black. Never. That's a design mistake. It's too sharp. Same thing with whites. I would never use just pure white. I would get it close to it, but never just pure. 5. Oops. Oh, I skipped over 1. Yeah, these are, I probably would turn this into a more metal color, like for my design. Now that my glasses are off, not sure if I'm feeling this too much. I probably would change it to maybe closer to a metal, like a gunmetal color. But this is cool right here. This is cool for our blacks and for our whites to start off with. You know what? I'm gonna try this out. If it's not dark enough in the design, I could change it around. I want to make sure it's good for my text. Like, the black color right here would be the text. And let's go ahead and change our labeling 100, 200, 400. All right, cool. Now I could close this. Let me go to my neutrals. Connect these to my variables. And then after this, I'm going to check out the chat, see if there are any questions. And then I'm going to turn these into local styles. After that, I'm going to show you how this could be edited and reused as a blueprint starter template for any design. Let me get my glasses back. I could feel it in my eyes. Late night here. Trying to cut out that blue light late at night, trying to cut out the screens a lot to improve the sleep. Okay. Now I'm not going to do any more. I think we are good to go. Now, the next thing we need to do is add our local styles. This used to be the original way of using globals, is just using locals. And that's what we see here. Like I already got a few local styles for my grids already set up. But if I want to do that here, I could just go to the color. We'll go back to this box, click on it. In fact, let me copy this because I don't want to type out anymore anything. Go back to the box, click the plus, but this time we're going to create a style. And I'm going to call this primary 100 and create a style. Now we're going to start building up our color palette on the right. Now it might seem tedious doing both variables and the color styles, but they do have their place. You always want to use variables as much as possible. It's for best practices, it's more scalable. And now these two are tied together. I could go in and change this. Let me see here. I could open up my variables. I could go and edit this directly inside my variable editor, and I could change it. And you're going to see it's going to change both inside of the styles and inside of the variable. So this is where it's going to be easy to replicate this and just change your colors. Like it's going to be so easy. I'm doing the hard part right now, which is all the tedious stuff of setting it up, making sure everything is accurate, making sure that we have a good file structure going on. After that part is done, the rest is pretty much a breeze. Let me go ahead and finish. I'm going to just finish my primary and I'm going to finish my secondary. See how quickly I could do this. I know it takes time. Let me go here, fill plus create a global style or they call it local style inside of Figma, but you could think of it as a global style. All right, copy that. No, plus style. Okay, add it to the styles. Paste that in, create my style. It's not as bad. Let me zoom in on this. Create a global style. Okay. Let me copy that. Create a style. Okay, I'm just going to do one more because we're going to take a look at organizing this and how this will look inside the design and what you could actually end up with when you have a starter template and a starter blueprint. We're going to do the same now for our secondaries. This is why we always do variables first. Start with variables, connect your variables. Next week, I don't know if you guys really dig this and want to see, I could do the same thing with our typography styles. We're basically creating variables. I mean, really quick, let me just show you what I mean by this. Let me open up my variable editor. Let me open this up. And I have different ones here. So I got my typography. I haven't started it yet. But inside my typography, I would create a number, and this would be font size. Let's say header XXL for my extra large header. Let's say we're going to make this 72 pixels. Now I'm going to also create a template like what we got here. And I'm also going to define the clamps as well. Now, Figma doesn't have clamps and it doesn't have RAM. It only has pixels and percentages as of right now. Now, if they do have it and you know about it, let me know because I would love to learn. I know Figma is always updating and adding stuff, but for right now, from what I know, is RAM and M. Yeah, you see, I put RAM, it just disappears. But I will be creating another layout like this, another framework. And then what we're going to do inside there is when we do create a text, let's say right here. All right, I'm going to actually do this here with this one. All right, we could go into my text and then from here in the font size, click down and connect it to a variable. So I'll open up a variable, go down to my header, and now it is 70 pixels, 72 pixels. And well, basically you're connecting your variables, which are your tokens, to these styles. This way it's all reusable. It's easier to transfer to the website, better for development. Okay, let me go in and finish this up now. And if that got confusing, tell me. I would love to do more and to make it more clear. Okay. And then we're going to organize this up. Copy that. Oops. Go to those four dots and click the plus. We're going to go to our style. You might tell I'm starting to fade away right now. It's getting close to my bedtime. This is when mistakes happen. By the way, I don't know how many of you out there find yourself working late and this is like, okay, this is when the mistakes start to happen. This is when we forget. See, look at that. Already forgot what I was doing. Okay. Let's take a step back. Go to the fill, select on the four dots, go to the plus, and then go to style for our local styles. Create style. I'm almost done here. Let's copy this. Oh, I didn't need to do that. Go to the four dots, click the plus over to style. And there are plugins too. I got to get them. I know there are plugins that turn variables and convert them automatically into styles as well. I'm going to experiment with that on these ones right here and see if I could get that to, I could do that right now. You guys want to see that? I'd be happy to experiment and see how that works. This, after all, is just a blueprint right here. This is just a copy of the blueprint. Like the master file, this is already started. Like this is just what you do with it to set it all up. Of course, I do got to add more to it. Let me see here. Style, create styles. Okay, you see now we got all of our styles, and these are going to build up. We could always go here, right click it, add a folder, and now this is going to be called primary colors. This is how we organize it here. Let me drag this up to the top. Oops, go up to the top. Stick up there. Okay, it's not sticking. I'll bring these down. 2, 3. Okay, we'll drag them all over. I'll do the same thing here. Add a new folder, and then this will be secondary. I'm going to call this one pink because if we're going to use multiple secondaries, then it's easier to identify. Once your blueprint is all built out, and once I have this blueprint completely finished, which is going to be in the next couple of days, it's going to be fully built out here in the styles, fully built out here inside of the variables. Now I'm doing all this for our Figma mastery. I wanted to do something special. I have some that are more basic, but I wanted to create something that is just super dope, something that anybody could go in. You could literally just go and duplicate it. Go to my design system here. You're going to have it all built up. Once this is finished, we're going to have all the variables done on it. We're going to have all of our colors set up. So all you got to do is choose your color palette. That's it. Find what color palette you want to use. Let's say, is this, I had to remove my glasses to make sure. Let's say this is yellow and we want to change it. So we would just go in, go to that plugin color shades here. Let's go ahead and change that color. Let me take off my glasses so I can see it better. And then from here, let's say I want this to be my secondary. I'm just going to update and change my secondaries. I would go, you know what? I want to use this 0.5. I want something light. So I would paste that. You know what? Let me go to 1. All right, I'm going to skip that one. Let me go to, yeah, I'll go to here. Actually, I don't want to go too dark with the yellow. You could choose what you want. Even though this one here is for, no, this is good. This is good. Let me just show. This is all just for an example, anyways, to show how quickly we could update this and change it. 6, 7, 8. Let me move this down so you can see it as it's happening. Let me see. I'm gonna do 8.5. Yeah, and then I'll do 9. I don't really like 9. Let me go to 9.5. And that's it. That's all you got to do with the starter after this is after it is done to change the color palettes. And then if we were to go into our variables, the variables are all set here. And then if we were to go to our color styles, the color styles are also going to be updated as well. And then when you're building out the design, whatever is connected to, just like global styles inside the elements, or you change it, it changes across the board. So you could also do this with that. Huh, that was interesting. So I could click create and then we could build it automatically puts in the board. Okay. Uh you know what? Let me try one more thing really quick here. I just want to try something. I want to test it out. I'm going to go to my manage plugins and I'm going to put in styles to variables. I want to see if I could find oops, type this. I want to see if I could find something that could automate it. Convert your Figma styles to variables. Okay. I'll choose this first one. Let me run it. I don't want to do all of them. Let me see. Can I select them? I just want to select. Oh, no. I want to do the other way around. Oh, wait. No. Okay. I want to do it the other way around. Let me go to my plugins. Uh, Variables of styles. You see a lot of legacy designs. They're all built using styles and not variables. I don't see any that is or styles. It looks like everything is going from styles to variables, which makes sense. What is this? Set up local color variables, get the plugin started, choose a collection with color variables, push the button. Let's see what that does. Create a guide. Okay, it looks like I gotta take my glasses off to see this. Okay, I wonder if this is from the styles, why it's doubling up. Huh, I don't know. All right. With that, I am going to stop the screen share, get into some Q&A. What time is it? Okay, we hit an hour. Dang, that went fast. But not it kind of went fast and it kind of didn't. Said I get in the zone. That thing I was on it for hours. Like I get very very granular, very detailed in it. Let me turn this brightness up. All right, any questions here? Okay. How about accessibility? Great answer. I mean, great question. Accessibility plays a huge part when we're creating colors. By the way, we have a new tool inside of Figma that was just released. Let's go in here, check this out. All right, let me take off my glasses for this. Uh, I could go into my color. In fact, let me go into the variable. Let's open that up. Let's open up this variable. This is our primary color. We could click on it. It's not showing right here. Maybe I need to do. Let me see. I was just working with it the other day. Okay, let me click that open. So right here, there's a new icon here for accessibility. Now, this is just to check the color contrast. And this will let us know if it is accessible. So you can test everything out and it'll let you know if it is passing or not based on the background. Because you can see we got a black background. So this here is saying, nah, this is not accessible. It does not pass the test. That is pretty cool that it is built inside of Figma now. But I always go into my Adobe accessibility checker. This is the tool that I use. Wait, where did it go? Not PDF, color accessibility. Okay, here we go. So I always go in and check everything. Okay, wait. Okay. Here we wait, no. Well, it's in there. I'm getting tired. I don't want to start digging through. But you got a lot of accessibility checkers out there. So always use that whenever you're checking, when you're putting button text, like text on a button. If you're using like a really light blue, and if you put like a white text, it's not going to pass that. But there are plenty of accessibility checkers out there that'll let you know is the contrast ratio high enough. And then there's also just best practices for accessibility, like font sizes. If you're going to have a call to action button, you don't want to use like a 300 thin font or even a 2 or 100 especially. You don't want to use the thin font. You want to make sure it's legible, it is readable. Why do I make so many variations? That is only for a full out project. You don't need so many variations. You could get away with just, 4 or 5 shades. The shades just give you more room for your design. And if don't want to be just tied to a few different colors, and you want to do something like some background, something for some shadows or something, you just have more options, but they stay in that color range so it doesn't look off. uh Now I use 9 colors to start off with inside of my blueprint and my starter template, but you could take that, you could reduce it down to 3, 4, 5. It's totally fine. And then if you're going to use really big designs, like really big projects where uh you know, it's pretty huge. If you already know pretty much what you're doing. Those could expand out to a lot more as well. All right, Matt. Yes. So everything done is in the free version. I have been using Figma for 5, 6 years now, full on. I came from Sketch app. That's where I learned to design. Well, I originally learned to build mockups inside of Photoshop because, that's what my mentor taught me. He was old school. That was about 9 years ago when I started learning web design and front end development. But I went into Sketch app within about a year, really getting into web design. That's where I learned to do it. But then Figma took over. When I got into Figma, I only use a free version up to a couple of weeks ago. I only purchased the pro version for better organization and to show more inside of our Figma mastery course coming out. Other than that, I have never really had a need to do anything else that was outside of the free version. The one big benefit of having the pro version is just the organization and keeping all your files cleaned up. You're able to use projects, at least for me. Dev mode is cool. I did get access to the AI, but I still got to like dig in and see how useful that is. But other than that, everything that you're seeing, all you need is the free version. That's it. Like, I built a web design agency. I have worked as a creative director. I've worked on major projects and collaborated with a lot of awesome designers. You could do so much with just the free version. Only get the pro if you absolutely need it. Yep. Exactly. Exactly. Dennis, a color contrast analyzer. Absolutely need that always whenever you're choosing your colors. Adobe XE never did it. Man, I never want to be stuck in the Adobe ecosystem again. I got out of it and I would never go back to Adobe. Never. There's nothing could get me going back over there. They just do so many bad practices. I don't like it. I don't like what they do over there. It's just one of those things where companies get too big, and the bottom line is more important than the end customer. That's what it basically comes down to. Well, guys, this is the end of it. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. If there aren't any more questions, and if you did find this useful, then well, we could always do more of these. Well, I do plan on getting the momentum coming back in for the live streams. So I'm really glad that, I was able just to jump on, and I plan to do this a lot more inside of the near future. Do some more designs, like maybe even design some layouts, some redesigns, some checking out other people's websites, fixing them up, stuff like that. Got a lot of things always going on in my head. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you everybody for watching, for joining, participating from all over the globe. Man, all the way from Ethiopia, all the way from all different parts of the globe. I love it. I love it. From Denmark, from I know some of my UK crew is over here. I see some of the Lightbox community crew going on over here. So hey, one more thing. If you do want to check it out, go here. I'm gonna go out here. This is where all of this is going to be shared at. It's going to be inside of the Figma Mastery right here. I have a wait list, so you could go ahead and join it, and you could go ahead and get like a cool discount with it. But this is massive. This is something like I have been working on. I've been planning for well over a year. I wanted to make sure when I did this that I solved a huge problem inside of the communities that I'm in, inside of WordPress, inside of web design, for us web designers and creatives. This is going to be something that is built to be transformative, to get over any kind of humps with Figma and just to get to a place where it's transformative. That's the best way I could describe it. So definitely check it out because all my heart and soul is going into this. And so far, I'm excited. This is the reason why I just jumped on a live stream. I wasn't even planning on this. I only posted this live stream like 15 minutes before we went live because I'm just like, I can't stop. I can't stop thinking about, whoa, Transylvania in the house. Dude, Romania, you guys got some dope designers out there. Some really dope designers in that part of the world, man. Okay. Netherlands in the house. Oh, nice, nice, nice. Okay, it's time for me to go to sleep because I'm going to start rambling. Hey, thank you all. I'll be back again soon with another one of these, and I got some web design tuts coming up soon as well. I got something coming up with some design systems inside of Elementor and some more Figma stuff coming up in YouTube videos that I'm currently creating, as well as some AI stuff, not gimmicky, but actually useful stuff that works in a web design workflow. With that, good night, everybody. Thank you.